Oh, you look terrible.
I don't think I look that bad, actually.
Hello, brother.
To make the king who was white, heterosexual, and fully able to reverse all of those things is just silly. And actually, people have had enough of it. And of course, this show is not going to be renewed, is it? Because go woke, go broke.
But look, let's move on, because Amazon, the major streaming giant, has introduced a new historical drama, My Lady Jane, based, by the way, on a real story. But the king in this historic period drama is gay, disabled, and black. It's the trifecta of woke identity politics of colourblind casting.
Majesty! Any hymns? Seymour pie. Oh, you look terrible.
I don't think I look that bad, actually.
Hello, brother. Cousin Jane.
Your Highnesses, it's a pleasure.
Sweet Bess. Jane and I will...
Now, Darren Grimes tweeted about this, or posted on X, I should say. My Lady Jane on Amazon. Historical fiction. Only the history is entire nonsense. There will be young kids watching this who are led to believe DEI crap is based on realism. That's my issue with it. Calvin, are you supportive of this black, gay, disabled king from hundreds of years ago?
Oh, absolutely. I think a black, gay, disabled Edward VI is exactly what we need right now. That'll solve many more problems, actually. It will get us all united behind this great... No, it's stupid. What the heck are they playing at, honestly? I mean, the story behind Lady Jane Grey is an interesting story. The story behind King Edward VI is interesting, and being one of Henry VIII's youngest children, and the fact that actually the court around him was very political. In fact, much of our faith was altered around that time too. He was more Protestant, or the people around him were more Protestant. Thomas Cranmer had more of an influence because he was so young. There's many tales to be told about that period of history. I find it very fascinating.
Yes, just 9 days on the throne, Calvin, between the 10th and 19th of July, 1553. But I think we can quite comfortably say back in 1553, not many gay, black, disabled men in England.
I doubt there was a single gay, black, disabled man in the country back then. But this is part of the problem, isn't it? Let's tell our great stories. Let's tell our great history. Let's tell it properly. Actors are great. So if you have an actor that can play a certain role, wonderful. They don't have to be the thing themselves to play it. But at the same time, when it's a period drama, you kind of have to stick to the narrative to some degree. To some extent, you can take creative liberties. But to make the king who was white, heterosexual, and fully able to reverse all of those things is just silly. And actually, people have had enough of it. And of course, this show is not going to be renewed, is it? Because go woke, go broke. And Netflix
of course,
still haven't
total
learned that
flop,
lesson.
just like we see with Star Wars and loads of other franchises that try and go down this identity politics obsessed path. But do you think it's damaging, Calvin? I mean, it's silly, yes, but is it damaging because it actually makes young people, or actually not just young people, lots of adults too, not realize how much we've changed? And isn't that the whole point of historical dramas, that we can see, okay, that's what things used to be like. How great that we are now a more advanced society. If we lie about our history and pretend that everything is as it is now, then actually it doesn't show that there has been progress.
That's interesting. So perhaps this is the reason they're doing it. If they did legitimate period dramas that show what this country was like a few hundred years ago, people might look back and say, actually, it was a bit better before this mass immigration, this mass push for diversity, less knife crime, less fraud, less burglary, and less all of the horrible things that are happening in our inner cities. What have we done wrong? Where did we go wrong? Maybe progress isn't linear. Maybe, we have lots of advancements. Healthcare is better, hygiene is better, education has been better, but not everything is better. Our culture is suffering as a result. And maybe people will look at the two things side by side and say, what has changed? Let's have a look and consider. So maybe that's why they're pushing this, or maybe they just don't believe in what they pretend to believe in. If they truly believed in diversity, they would, like you say, show the progress that we've made according to their own eyes and say, this is how it was, this is how it is now. Look how far we've come.
Be honest, you're not going to make a historic drama set in Africa and put lots of white folk in. Just be honest. I hate this. I really hate colourblind casting.
Although there was one like that.
Really
There was
hate
one
it.
called Norton Crosses, which I reviewed. And what they did is they made the Africans the elite, and they made the white people the commoners, and there's all this kind of reverse racism. It was absolutely awful. I think it was on the BBC a couple of years ago. So they will do it when it's in their interest, but again, it will just bomb because it's just rubbish.
Yeah. Because the brilliance of historic dramas is that they are truly historic. I've only promised to talk to you about products on this show that are actually life-changing. This one's personal, but I know the guys watching will get it. And ladies, let me tell you, this is the best possible gift for your husband or boyfriend. They will be so grateful. Because men want grooming to be a one and done deal. So the days of using the same trimmer for all parts of your body are over thanks to our friends at Manscaped. Now I've come up with the ultimate package to keep you trimmed from 12 till 6. Introducing the Beard and Balls bundle featuring the Lawnmower 5.0 and the Beard Hedger. Now you know I'm not talking about this type of lawnmower, but a product that provides precision trimming for all areas, even the sensitive ones, to get you as manicured as freshly cut grass. I'm talking about a trimmer for the moneymaker, another for the boys downstairs. This trimmer gets it right the first time. It's gentle on your skin and all the delicate places with 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads. You can choose between a precise trim or a smooth finish. And did I mention, it's waterproof, which means you can trim in the shower and avoid making a mess everywhere. Then let me tell you about the Beard Hedger. So whether you're going for a neat stubble or full-on lumberjack look, this trimmer will have you covered. It features a titanium-coated stainless steel T-blade and 20 length options, so you can achieve any style you want just by twisting the zoom wheel. And just like the lawnmower, the Beard Hedger is also waterproof, so you can handle your beard in the sink or shower and not worry about water damage. It has 60 minutes of runtime and an LED charge indicator. You will never be caught mid-trim with a dead battery. This is a gentle product too. No more cuts. Keep your loved one happy. Increase your confidence. And guess what? You get 20% off and free shipping. All you need to do is use the code Outspoken when you check out at manscaped.com. I used it the other day. Huge discount when you take it into account. So just visit www.manscaped.com. Use the code Outspoken. No more juggling, multiple tools, or dealing with subpar results. Just efficient, effective grooming wherever you need it. For the premium grooming experience, trust Manscaped. This absolutely bizarre decision by Amazon to turn the character of the 16th century king in its new drama, turn that king into a black, disabled, and queer king, which just feels like trying to tick every single diversity box just for the sake of it. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe you guys like this, Nicholas. What do you think? Is this a progressive move by Amazon?
Well, as a historian, I can certainly say this is not historically accurate.
That's for sure.
When I first saw this, I thought it was some sort of 4chan meme that was going around the internet. But no, it turns out it's real.
I had to check it was real too.
I mean, reality is stranger than fiction these days. I mean, we're living in parody. I don't know how they're going to do the next GCA because, quite frankly, there is nothing left to parody. Reality has become a parody of itself. This is outstandingly out of touch and strange and bizarre. Haven't the folks over at Amazon heard the saying, get woke, go broke? Because, I mean, quite frankly, you know, I can defend certain casting decisions, but I mean, this is just outrageous. This is outstanding. I mean, this is meant to be a historical drama. What's historical about this? I don't believe Britain had a black, gay, disabled king back in the day, unless I, happen to fall asleep in that aspect of my history lecture. But no, this is ridiculous. This is just pointless box ticking. In fact, I have a little theory that they're doing this on purpose to drum up attention to their show because they know nobody's going to watch it, and now at least they're going to get some hate watchers in. So I think in certain respects, this is what they're doing this for, because you find this happening so often these days. And I would say more, but I'm genuinely afraid of being arrested by Keir Starmer's Gestapo.
Yeah, probably just for making that comment. Lucy Harman, what do you reckon? Is there any pro to this colourblind casting?
It's like Royston Vasey. It's like watching the League of Gentlemen play out in real time. It's funny because I remember back in probably 2016. This was a joke between me and my friends, where you'd say you'll only get the job if you're an Indian lady in a wheelchair,
Who's also lesbian.
and you're a lesbian. Yeah, and it was a joke, and it's become reality. I mean, it was around a little bit, but it's like you cannot rationalize it. You can't. No one could. They're playing up to something which has just become a parody of itself. Like Nick said, it's just mental. It's just mental. You look at that and you just laugh, don't you? Because it's like Little Britain. It's mad. It's stupid. It's ludicrous. It's just stupid. It's got to stop. Anyone that reads that headline and thinks, God, that's brilliant, that's great, needs their head checked. Honestly, they do.
Okay.
You do.
Anna Ireland, are you going to be the one that says that actually it's a good thing? It is a good, sensible thing for Amazon to try and be diverse, even when
Anna.
they're making a historic drama set in the 1500s.
I want Anna get
It's
that Amazon
definitely
gift card.
so. No, I think I think they're deliberately trying to destroy history because they bring that into the schools as well. And if you don't have a history, then you can convince the kids of anything. And I think that's what's going on. I don't think they're trying to be humorous or anything.
Yeah, and that is so worrying, actually. That is the really serious side of this, because I completely agree. It is a parody. It is farcical. It is some sort of laugh. But actually, I think when you're talking about youngsters, it's really disturbing, because if people don't know their history, then actually you don't know what progress has been made. You don't know reality from fiction. And I think it's a really good point, Anna, to actually say, look, this could be part of the new woke curriculum that's coming in, where children and teenagers are not being taught what's real and what's not.
Exactly that. And I mean, you even have to go into our local elementary school, and what do they have as a display in the entrance? It's no longer, our heroes or what happened in the past. We have Sam Smith in his underwear and on stage, and these are elementary school kids, and it's put there for them to look up to as a hero. So I think it's all part of a big picture, and I think it's all being done deliberately. And maybe we should be taking it more seriously than we do.
Yeah, no, indeed. And that is one of the reasons I pointed out, partly because it is farcical and ridiculous. And as you guys all say, actually, every time one of these classic or historic series or old franchise decides to go woke, it's that particular part of the franchise which flops, because people actually are really happy with tradition and don't need every woke bit of nonsense to be shoved down their throat. We like to watch Disney because it's got a beautiful princess and a prince and they live happily ever after. That's sort of why we go to that sort of content. But yeah, I do think there is a sinister edge to what companies like Amazon are doing. Personally, I find it really shocking that my favorite series of all time, Mad Men, which, was only made, 10, 15 years ago, I guess, would never be made now, because the whole point of Mad Men was to show how racist, sexist and homophobic the 60s and the late 50s was in a Madison Avenue ad agency. So literally the only black characters in the early series of Mad Men were the lift attendants who would press the button in the lift of the ad agency, and then you saw the progress, and by the end of the series there was a little development. But the only gay character, for example, the moment that he was discovered to be gay, he was written out of the series. Now, that was reality, and that's why it's such an important and brilliant series, but it would not be made today, and I find that really worrying, actually, because it means that producers and writers are always trying to find ways now to defy historic reality. They are looking for weird little quirks to say, oh no, like Bridgerton, for example, oh no, England did have a black queen, because there's a little bit of debate about one of our previous queens and whether she was potentially mixed race. So they're always, I think, sometimes not prepared to do real storytelling, and that's why so many Hollywood movies are so awful these days, right?
I completely agree with that. I mean, I just finished my master's in modern history, and one of the biggest aspects of the curriculum was the decolonizing history modules, which was effectively a 45-minute lecture on why it's terrible to be white and why white people are the devils throughout history. And in these lectures, there's another element, a far more insidious element that's sort of creeping in, and that is the attempt to recontextualize certain historical figures as being transgender, which is unbelievably bizarre. I mean, one of these lectures, which I attended out of morbid curiosity, turns out the last Kaiser of Germany, Wilhelm II, was a secret transsexual, and he started World War One because he was angry at at his manhood size or something akin to that. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous. And the thing is that we are encouraged as students to attend these lectures, and yet everybody sits there like stuffed dummies, just sort of looking at this slide screen, being told, you're terrible for being white. Oh, no, all the problems in the world are your fault, even though I'm only 22 years old and I wasn't around for slavery, you know, and it's ridiculous. And it's coming down from academia, all of this historical revisionism. And when the academics say, oh, this is, you know, there's a little bit of questioning around that, you then get Netflix, for example, making a show about Alexander the Great in which she is openly portrayed as gay. Or you get Doctor Who turning Isaac Newton into a black man in 16th century England, which is not accurate, I'll tell you that right now. And then you have the even stranger fiction, which spread around Twitter, which argued that I believe it was Beethoven was black. There's no historical records about that whatsoever. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if there is, you know, at some point in the next 5 or 10 years, Netflix comes out with a Beethoven show where he's played by Idris Elba. You know, utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, and when you cannot trust history, then actually what can you trust? And I would never have thought, even just a few years ago, that there was going to be a serious attempt to rewrite history and the curriculum, but we have absolutely seen that with the decolonization push within education. I think it is really terrifying. So even though it's great that we can all laugh at how ludicrous Amazon is and ha 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 ha, your stupid show, which looks absolutely awful, has flopped, I think there is a serious side to it, although we should always remember, go woke, go broke. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please do subscribe if you want lots more clips and interviews like that. Plus, if you want to watch our totally uncensored after show, then visit www.outspoken.live.